signal now for when I'm needed. But when that light hits the sky, it's not just a call. It's a warning to them.
Yes, sir. Welcome to Beyond the Bat Signal. I'm your host, Dominic Yanika. Join me as we dive into the depths of Batman's lore, dissecting the rogues gallery, and uncovering the stories of our iconic vigilante known as the Dark Knight. Beyond the Bat Signal is a proud member of the Batman Podcast Network, aka BPN, hosted by Batman on Film. Visit their website, batman-on-film.com, and you can check out the list of shows that they have, and there's a wealth of them. A couple of them, one is definitely host of is Batman on Film. They have their own little podcast, I know, Batman Book Club, and another one is Straight Outta Gotham. Now, thank you very much for tuning into today's episode, where we are going to discuss the review from a 1-month hiatus, Batman 161, Hush 2, and it is titled, let me just go here while I fill in, and it's called The Queen, and I get the reference because I think they were playing chess, and it was a chess reference. Written by Jeff Loeb, pencils by Jim Lee. Now, with that being said, before we get into Batman 161, just want to welcome each of you, either longtime listeners or new listeners. You can tune into new episodes anywhere you listen to podcasts. That's Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio. And if you want to follow along on what we do, we just have one social, kind of thinking about doing two. But anyway, it's X/Twitter. So if you'd like to give a follow at Beyond Bad Signal, feel free, go ahead. Or if you want to fire away and shoot an email, ask a question, listen, bring it on. I love it. It's at beyondthebatsignal@gmail.com. And pretty important, if you guys can take 2 minutes out of your day and leave a 5-star review. I know there's been quite a few people that have left that and even written a review. Really goes a long way, and it's definitely greatly appreciated. But anywhere where you get you listen to podcasts, whether it's Apple, Spotify, any type of platform, it really does help support the show and allow us here to be seen. So, without further ado, let's get into Batman 161, Hush 2. Now, looks like there were multiple covers for Batman 161. I got the one by Jim Lee, where he has Batgirl fighting Batman. There was a lot that were, I guess there were so many that were released, but, you know, there's one that I have to hunt down, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, search up the Mann Brothers. They have a cover on this issue, and my God, does it look ridiculous. They both went off, and it just looks like old school Batman. He looks angry and has a hush in the background. It is dope. Like, to me, that is the cover thus far in this series, hands down. Tell me if I'm wrong. But yeah, anyway, I got cover A. It's cool. It's not my favorite. And there's, just before I get into it, it's sprinkled in is Superman advertisements all throughout, James Gunn film, and it's just now playing in theaters. And I just love that little touch. It just gives me like old school vibes as to like what movies in theaters, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna look back at this comic in like 10 years from now and be like, that is pretty dope. Even if you look at, like, I open up comics from the 80s, 90s, I love looking at their advertisements. Anyway, Batman 161 picks up where it left off, and Jim Lee, I mean, do I say anything more? This guy's continuing to bring the art, and he does not disappoint. And you have Batman, who's just absolutely livid, and he is kind of at a standstill. He's like, shit, like, before I was on my own, I had no one to worry about, and it was so easy. Now I have a family and people that I care about, and they are all vulnerable. And not only that, he's vulnerable. But Robin, being, I guess, Talia al Ghul's son, or you can say Damien, the grandson of Ra's al Ghul, smart kid, he's feisty, and Hush has got him dead to rights, and he's got an X-Acto knife right at his throat. And what does he do? He goes a little old school, and it kind of just gives me vibes of Batman Begins. Robin, or Damien, pushes on his utility belt, and sure enough, you get all these bats just swooning in and distracting everyone, attacking. Especially Silence. You got a nice little panel where he's just like, what the hell's going on? And it distracts Hush, and Batman gets his hands on Hush, and they get a couple good hits on each other. Hush really gets him good with the X-Acto knife going through the right side of his chest, and it kind of just shows on the continuing pages. It's not like it just kind of disappears. Like, I love that, like, little continuation. Then there's that weird looking girl, I kind of forget her name. Don't know what her superpower is, other than like this, she just extends her arms and it turns into, like, I don't know, anything. Anyway, and there's an escape route that Hush already has, and sure enough, like, they take off. And Batman's just trying, like, he's saying, like, you are not leaving. Following that, kind of didn't understand the whole Bane thing. Not a fan of it. Batman was reminded about, like, it's like, oh, it's great that Bane was here. Thanks, Robin, for bringing him. But Batman's just like, why the hell did you bring this guy? And Batman had one thought only. Hush. Batman turns around, takes a beautiful left hook, cracks Bane right in the face, and just knocks him out, which I thought, kind of weak. I don't know. Didn't like it. I do like Bane as a character. I don't think he is as weak as he was perceived right there, or are they just trying to make Batman as strong as he is? I don't know. Anyway, kind of unique to see Damien with Bane, and whatever. It doesn't matter. Batman's just like, why the heck are you with this guy here? Like, and he said, like, listen, I broke Bane out of Blackgate. You needed help, so had to come here. There was one thing I thought that was pretty funny, though, by the way. Batman's just like, Damien, you knew I had done this stunt with bats before. And Damien just responds, yeah, I improved it. And he's just like, where'd you get the means for such a large-scale project? Damien's response, my mother. Something about her having an interest in my health. I don't know. Nice little sense of humor just to kind of add throughout. And then you have Joker with his braces, and they're at a face-off where he's got two guns pointing directly to Jason Todd and Dick. And you could tell that Jason wants to get his hands on him and take him out. Joker, he's not going to hold back. He obviously unleashes. Joker obviously comes back to life, and he's wide awake, and he kind of recalls exactly what happened, saying, like, last thing I remember was Hush left me for dead. And that can only mean one thing, is that your bad daddy saved me. We always hurt the ones we love, right? Dead Robin. Jeff Loeb, the way he writes Joker, I just hear Mark Hamill's voice. Don't know if you feel the same way. This was a fun little bit with Joker. And then they have like a pretty cool panels, like, the panels where it's like you got the strong lightning bolt, and then you have both Nightwing and Jason Todd jumping out of the apartment into the water, and Nightwing's like, Jason, where are you? And then you have a cool little panel of Joker just basically spray and pray, firing, and Joker's next stop, he announces that it's, hush, little baby, don't you cry. Joker's gonna make sure that you die. Love it. Be curious as to how that dynamic works out with Joker going after Hush. I'm pretty fascinated by that, because it just seems like it is like a chess piece, like this whole like series. It's named after chess pieces, like the rook and whatnot. And you can just tell, like, what's the game that Hush is playing. And, like, you can tell that he's, like, 4 or 5 steps ahead of Batman. Joker just doesn't care. He's, like, an agent of chaos, to quote the Dark Knight. And Batman, anyway, shows up in his Bat Cycle. Pretty cool panel at the top of the page. Love the way the Bat Cycle looks. And Batman was just saying that Damian was told him that they came here to looking for Jason, and Batman, doing his detective work, is like, okay, here's some blood, and more of it looks like a Russian nesting doll wrapped up in an enigma. And then we get like a nice little page right next to Crypto, by the way. But anyway, Jim Lee draws, and it looks like an office that Batman was just meant to find. And he even says it. Hush has separated everyone into 2 camps, like the dark and light pieces on a chessboard, allies and enemies. What have I stumbled onto? Or did he want me to find this? And he's got like quite a few images. Some of them I can't really tell who they are. I can definitely tell. It looks like, I can't even see it, but Jason Todd's one of them for sure. Looks like Riddler's in the background. I can see Scarecrow. Pretty smart. Anyway, and then he's got Alfred and Batman, and all looks like chess pieces. And then he has Damian Wayne on there as well. They're all little cutouts, and Jim Gordon's on there too. And you're like, Batman's just like, what's this guy up to? Then we get a little bit of the story with Barbara Gordon and visiting her dad, Jim Gordon. And, Jim's just like, I knew you'd come, old friend. Now, Jim obviously mistakes Barbara for Batman, saying, like, I knew you'd come, old friend. And she's like, listen, it's me, Barbara. But she is looking pretty pissed off. Jim's like, listen, I think we've been through worse. And she's like, this might not be the time to tell you, but Batman saved Joker's life. And she's obviously ticked off because it affects the ones that she loves this time. And then we have a panel where Batman is kind of listening in on the conversation between Babs and Jim. And Jim takes Batman's side. You know how he is, and he understands Batman. And it's like, Jim's kind of defending Batman, saying, like, if that's what happened, if Batman saved Joker's life, and that's what really happened, then he had no other choice. It makes him better than the Joker, better than all of us in some ways. And Barbara's just like, I cannot agree with you on this one, Dad. Sorry. The way Barbara Gordon looks, in the sense of like her Batgirl outfit, gives me memories of Batgirl from the 1966 series, with kind of like the purple and yellow. Love it. And then you get a nice little flashback of the Killing Joke, and it seems like that's what Jeff Loeb has been doing lately, where he's just kind of brought back images of the Killing Joke, probably one of the most traumatizing experiences that Barbara Gordon ever experienced, and obviously for Jim. And Jim still stayed the course. Like, kind of interesting that even through it all, I remember Jim saying to Batman, you do it the right way, you get him out of here the right way, alive. And even though Barbara was paralyzed. Anyway, we get a flashback of Jim and Batman from that night. And it's conversations between Jim and Batman. And even Jim remembering Sarah, his wife, and he's like, Batman's like, Jim, is that your wife? Is that what your wife would want? After Jim says, like, I'm going to kill the Joker. And Jim responds, she'd say, we would do it by the book. Show him that our way works, which totally reminds me of the Killing Joke. And then another panel, I should have done this a long time ago, and you can tell that this is a memory from the first Hush, where Batman's just about to beat the living daylights out of Joker, and Joker stops. He's like, I can't let you do this. Like, there's a line that we do not cross, otherwise we're the same as him. And it's all little memories that it's like, listen, we do not kill the Joker, just to kind of get the fans just to remember, and new fans alike as well. So you have Hush in the next page kind of looking on, and he already knows where Batman is. And meanwhile, Batman's just, in his own mind thinking like, is this all my fault? After all this, Hush has forced me to kind of confront myself, all the pain that Joker's brought, and it's like, now I have to confront it. Then Hush just lets off like a bomb, and it goes boom, boom, boom. Batman knows, boom, right away that Hush is here. And Batgirl's looking on, seeing these explosions, and she knows Bruce is at this scene. So Batman's falling down off a building, and sure enough, you get a 2-page beautiful spread. I love this. Easily my favorite, I guess you can call it a panel, of the entire issue. And it's Batgirl saving Batman, and she's just saying, listen, you shouldn't even be here. And clearly pissed off, and she's going to take out her anger. And Batman's trying to like block her and say, listen, this is all Hush who's behind this. And she's just basically like, enough. You saved Joker's life, and this could have cost my dad his life. And she's like, there comes a time when you just have to accept responsibility for your own actions, Bruce. And Batman's just like, Barbara. And all of a sudden, Batgirl just kind of goes invisible, and he's like, huh? What the hell just happened? But in his little like thought bubble, he's just like, I admire her. Maybe I should have taken the time to tell her that. And obviously Bruce, being the cold man that he is, and he's not going to share his emotions. But Batman's got his own tech, and he's got his little heat sensor to be activated, and he's able to track down Barbara, and he takes one big swing and makes sure that she's kind of centralized. And then all of a sudden, boom, there's like this big bow that comes between Batman and Batgirl, and all you hear is Batman stop. And who shows up to kind of save the day? Nightwing. And he's not alone. He's with Huntress, he's with Robin, he's with Catwoman, and then there's Riddler? Question mark? Like, what the heck? And you can tell that Barbara just wants to take out her anger. But I love this little panel of the Bat family. Just listen, we got to be here. We got to stick together, and we got to take out Hush. And then you get like the following page where there's all the different Batman covers, which I love. Literally, Clayman, Seth Man, still the best one in my opinion. But yeah. That's the end of the issue, and it's to be continued. This was not my favorite of thus far of what they've released. I think there's been 58, 59, 60, 61, so 4. I'd say it's probably my least favorite. But then again, Jeff Loeb just leaves enough breadcrumbs for us to keep wanting more. I mean, Jim Lee with the artwork, still phenomenal. Kind of curious to see where this all goes in terms of the Bat family, and it keeps me guessing, which I like, and how Hush is playing this game, and the way Jeff Loeb's written Hush thus far, I'm enjoying, because it's like he is sprinkled into the story just enough, and it's what mind games are you playing right now. And probably the panel, not based on how it's drawn, but my favorite panel where it's like, what's he planning, is where has all the chess pieces of all the Bat family and people behind his plan, and it's like, what's this guy doing, what's he up to? And probably someone way smarter than me that is listening can figure it out. I unfortunately cannot. But with that said, listen, I'm enjoying it. This has been a great series. What would I give it? Probably give it a 7.7 out of 10, or what is that, B plus? Maybe, no, not an A minus. But I do like it. It's just, it takes place, and it just seems to kind of just push the needle a little bit, just enough. This is definitely more character building, though. And I do like the moment with Damian Wayne. I hated that Batman just kind of punched and knocked out Bane in one shot, and that was it. I thought that they could have done maybe a little bit more, or he just kind of stuck around. I don't know. But then again, it's stupid, because it's like, well, why, Bane, you went and killed Alfred. I hate your guts, So kind of stupid that he was even part of it. But yeah, overall, I thought the art was amazing. The story was great. So far, we're 4 issues in. I noticed that there's some mixed reviews. Some people like it, some people love it, some people hate it. I'm definitely someone that's been enjoying it, loving it. I mean, Jim Lee's artwork, you can't get tired of that. And the way Jeff Loeb has been writing this and The Last Halloween, I am loving every moment of this. And actually, this week is what we're getting. Is going to be releasing is the Batman The Last Halloween issue 8. So that should be fun. Guys, I'm not sure if you can tell, but I am absolutely gassed. Just recently, we've had a little one being welcomed into the family. I have a daughter. And let me tell you, the whole lack of sleep is a thing. So to all the parents out there, God bless you. I'm learning on the fly, and it's not easy. It's not easy at all, but damn, is it enjoyable. Now, that's going to be it for me today. It's going to be a bit more of a shorter one. You're going to be able to catch all reviews here on Beyond the Bat Signal, where we're going to be talking all Hush. And it's going to be the first 6 that are released. There's going to be a little bit of a break. I know that is for sure. And then also we're going to be covering The Last Halloween. There's some fun episodes coming up that are not review related that I can't wait to share with you. But with that being said, where can you find me? Twitter /X, whatever, at Beyond Bad Signal. Fire off an email if you'd like. Ask any questions you'd like at beyondthebadsignal@gmail.com. And rate and review the show. Give it a 5 stars. Write a little something. It does go a long way. I really mean it. And it'd be greatly appreciated. But yeah. Now, my name is Dominic. This is Beyond the Bad Signal. And we are signing off. Peace.